Welcome to Tech in the Car. This is the new Kia EV9, and this car is really important because perhaps it's the first mass market 7-seater large SUV that's available right now, and it is an EV. So how can this be the first? After all, this is a really big market. Large SUVs are really popular, but in the EV market they just don't really exist. We have in the US the Rivian R1S, which is much more expensive than this car. We have the new Lucid Gravity, which isn't even out yet, which is much more expensive than this car. And then we just have the Tesla Model Y, which isn't the same as this car, smaller than this car. The Model X, which is a lot more expensive than this car. So there isn't really anything around the price point of this car that does the same thing. The Kia are essentially first to the market with that size of EV, which is really interesting. Now let's talk specs, let's talk stats of this car. But let's first of all start with the design, because the one thing you'll notice at the front here is these fantastically cool headlights. Now this is a new signature that all Kia models are going to have going forward. And you can see we've got this really interesting design with stacked lights on top of each other. So you can see these same light designs in the Kia EV3, 4 and 5, which was shown off at the LA Auto Show, which you can also see my video on those. And it's going to come forward through all of the line of Kia cars, and it's really distinctive. You will know that there's a Kia behind you if you're driving and there's one behind you. And I think road presence is a very important part of what attracts people to cars. So I think that's really smart. Please don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe for more on the channel. Let's talk trim and specs and everything else you need to know. So all of these models have a 99.8 kilowatt hour battery. There's an all-wheel drive version which has 378 horsepower, and there's also a rear-wheel drive version which has 200 horsepower, 350 and 700 Newton meters of torque respectively. And we also have our GT line, our GT Line S, and our Air trims. The Air starts at about 64,000, just under 65, going up to about 76,000 pounds in the UK. And you get a lot of car for your money, there's no doubt about that. Let's talk size of this car. This comes as a 6 or 7-seater version, so with a back row or without a back row, which gives you more storage obviously for luggage, although you can put down that back row. This is 5,015 millimeters long in the 7-seat version, and just a tiny bit, smidge shorter, I am in Scotland after all, in your other version. So it's a very big car. Now this car has something which Tesla has made a big deal about in the last few days. The new Tesla Cybertruck, which is not a competitor to this because that is a pickup truck, is the first Tesla to have 800-volt architecture, which means it can charge at 350 kilowatt chargers. Now this car, just like all Kias for the last several years, have been able to do that because they're on that same 800 volt, and that means this car can do 10 to 80% of charge on that 350 kilowatt charger in 24 minutes. So haha Tesla, Kia beat you to it. Time you caught up with them with the charging. Well done, congratulations. And this car is really good at charging fast. Let's talk wheels. We've got 21-inch wheels front and back, and they've got this cool 4-spoke design, which is very interesting. You don't get many cars with 4-spoke wheel designs, but it pulls it off. It matches the design aesthetic, which is very athletic yet sporty, even though this has got no curves in it. Here at the back of the EV9 we have this new rear design which looks very sophisticated, just like the front. It matches the same aesthetic, and we've got quite a sporty rear design, different color bumper at the bottom and below, and it says Kia on the back and EV9 down in the corner. And in terms of space, well, of course, we've got an electronic tailgate, which is what you would expect. We have 333 litres back here, which gives you lots of space to put whatever you want. And we can also put down the third row, because of course there is a 6-seater and a 7-seater version of this car, which has either a third row or it doesn't have a third row. And you can put the back down like this, and then you get 888 litres, which is plenty of space. And then we also have a plug back here, which you can use to plug in your appliances and, you know, cook a meal outside, plug in a speaker, take this out and enjoy yourself. There's also a vehicle to load on the outside of this car, so you can plug an adapter into the charging port and charge other things like another electric car, for example, or even your house. So yes, you can power your house using the EV9. And what a cool feature that is. Let's talk Frunk. So first of all, there's no second latch on this, which makes it really, really easy to open. So on the GT Line and GT Line S, which is this car, we have 52 litres of frunk space, but on the Air we got 90 litres. So there's enough space to put your charging cables and everything down there. And actually, I really like how Kia have covered everything else in plastic at the front here. It makes it feel a lot more premium rather than some EV manufacturers leaving it open. So I really like that. So great frunk space, nice to see it, but it's not like you're lacking space at the back anyway. So this is just a bonus. Here inside the Kia EV9, it's very comfortable. We've got a nice heated steering wheel. We also have a terrain mode, so you can actually drive this car into a special mode for snow, mud and sand, which is the first Kia I've ever seen that could do that. We've got these cool compartments here for the drinks. You can press them down. We've got a fantastic 360 camera system. It's just really spacious and comfortable, and we've got a brand new infotainment system as well in this car. And let's have a quick overview of the new infotainment system. I have a full in-depth walkthrough of the infotainment system on my channel, so do check that out too. So we've got these new cool shortcut buttons here, and we can go to Android Auto and see it very simply. We've got these touch sensitive buttons underneath as well, which I can tap to go between the various different screens as well. Nice and responsive. These are actually a tiny bit annoying because when you're driving, if you try and reach over, you do end up resting your hand on one of these buttons, and then you end up going to a different screen, which is a touch annoying. There's a manual volume button underneath, which I think is really, really cool too. And then we've got our manual controls for the climate control, which you can use these buttons to turn it on, turn it off, and adjust it, which is nice and cool. And we've of course got this screen here, this new climate control screen, which you can't actually see because it's behind the steering wheel. If they'd moved it like, I don't know, 5 centimeters to the left, we'd be able to see everything, including the controls there, but for whatever reason, they didn't do that. But it gives you a really good overview of everything going on, and it's an updated system, which is very, very nice to see inside the EV9. One cool feature it has is you can use a fingerprint scanner to unlock your car. That's cool to have that in this Kia EV9. Let's talk packaging of this car. Because of the way EVs are, it means there's more space between the front and rear wheels, which means there's more space here. So despite this being a 7-seater, I've got a lot of space. I'm 1.78 m. We've got a panoramic roof at the front and at the back. It is divided in the middle, and it's very, very comfortable. And these seats are heated and cooled. There's separate climate control up above my head here, and the vents are surrounded by metal and feel very nice above my head, which means I'll definitely be able to stay warm or cool in the summer. Now on the 7-seat version like this, we have 2 rows. We've got a row behind, which I'm going to check out in a minute and describe to you what it's like. But on the 6-seat version, there are actually seats that can rotate and turn around, so it means you can face backwards and there's even more space. Let's check out the rear now and see how you get back there. Here in the 3rd row of the Kia EV9, I'm okay. It's a bit tight. You would expect that though, because there's no such thing as a 7-seater SUV which has got enough space for adults in the back that are over 6 feet. It's not going to happen. But we do have the luxuries back here. We have 2 cup holders, we have 2 USB Type-Cs, and we have these same metallic air vents above our heads. And the seats are very, very comfortable, despite the fact that I may not have an awful lot of space back here. I can fit, as you can see behind this seat, although I have basically no knee room, but I do have plenty of headroom, there's no doubt about that. And they are very comfortable, and they are also very, very, very nice to look at. So you're sitting in the back here and you're thinking, oh, the back is a bit upright. What can I do about it? Well, there's a button back here on both sides, you can see it, and it will allow me to adjust the position of the backrest, so I can recline it or move it forward, which is pretty nice as well. And then to get out, press a button on top and the seat moves forward, and you can get out, of course, as long as there's nobody in front of you. Welcome to the Scottish Highlands. I'm on my way to a castle right on the other side. We got a Loch Ness alongside us, or it was alongside us a second ago, and we're just enjoying driving this car. This is a big car. This is a 7-seater SUV. There's no denying its length. It's 5 meters long. This is a big car, but it doesn't handle like a big car. It handles like a much, much smaller car. It handles more like an Audi Q2 than like an Audi Q8. Really, really impressive to feel the way the steering turns into the corners. Yeah, it's not sports steering. We're not driving a Porsche, but it's still really, really capable in these corners, especially in sport mode that I'm in now. You've got the feedback, you've got the feeling. Just very impressed with it, honestly. And then of course, we've got the capability. It's 0 to 60, it's speed, it's power. Whether it's the all-wheel drive version, which this is, or the rear-wheel drive version, whether you've got 200 horsepower or 378 horsepower, whether it's 300 Newton meters or 700 Newton meters, like in this car, you never feel like you're lacking for power. And that instant torque from that electric motor is fantastic. It really lets you get away fast from the lights. It lets you get past traffic, and it makes this car, which is a big car, feel smaller. It shrinks around you. That's the biggest compliment I can have for this SUV, is I don't feel like I'm in an SUV. I feel like I'm in a car with a very big bonnet and a car with a lot behind me. But the only time I notice that this is a big vehicle, which is 5 meters long, is when I'm reversing into a parking space, and then I need to be careful with the parking. Other than that, I might as well just be driving a small, nimble car. I'm really impressed. And we should also talk about the range here. This car seems very, very capable. We have between 313 to 350 miles WLTP range, and it seems to be living up to that pretty well. I've driven about 50 miles so far today, and my range has dropped 50 miles, which means it's pretty much bang on for what you actually get. So I trust this. So it means it's got a really big battery. It's a 99.8 kilowatt hour battery. So it's a big, big battery, but it really is doing the job that you want it to, and going really, really well with good range, good performance, good handling. I'm very impressed with this Kia. Another great Kia. Let's test the 0 to 60 time now using the V-Bucks Performance Pro Touch. Big thank you to them. Let's check the 0 to 60 time in the EV9. So it's a big car, 380 horsepower. Let's go. And that's got quite some acceleration. That's pretty impressive. We're gonna hit 60, 4.87 seconds. That's the Kia EV9. It handles more like a sports car than like an SUV. It's really fast, especially in all-wheel drive version. It's got great range, it's got tons of space, all the latest technology inside, including the fingerprint scanner, heads-up display, and you can open and close it using your phone as the key. And it's a really good price considering everything you get and the size of the car and the competition. Remember, there isn't really anything else which exists, which is an EV that's 7-seater right now, or of course available as a 6-seater without that third row. Please do give this video a like, please subscribe, and let me know, would you like an EV9, and would you prefer it in this grey colour or in that really striking matte blue colour, or any of the other colours that Kia do? Thanks for watching.